Pre-travel shopping list. It seems like it's inevitable. You know, I'm gone for 4 or 5 days, and then I get back, and then my husband leaves, and then there's just no food in the house, and then I have to make lunches for teenagers. So what I've been trying to do this summer is I shop before I leave, and I buy things that I know are still gonna be good in a week. It's kind of disgusting, you know, that I could eat vegetables and fruits that are, you know, 10 days old, but there are some vegetables and fruits that are gonna last longer than others. I don't buy peaches before a business trip. You know, they're gonna be gone and mushy by the time I get back. But apples and oranges, fantastic way to go. Store them in your refrigerator. And don't wash the apples before you put them in the fridge. Whenever you wash a fruit or vegetable and then store it, it seems to accelerate the aging process. Broccoli and bell peppers. And I don't have time to go over what I do with all of these things, but on the Journeys page on my website, I'm gonna have 5 or 6 tips on how to use each of these things. So if you get in at 11 o'clock and you have to make lunches the next day for yourself or for your family, you'll know exactly what to do with all these items. Eggs and turkey bacon. In fact, I was eating turkey bacon on my drive over today. I get the huge Costco container of turkey bacon. I fry up the entire thing, put it into little Ziploc bags, and then store them in the freezer. Take them out in the morning, and by the time I'm ready to eat it, 3 or 4 hours later, it's defrosted, and it's a phenomenal protein source, low fat and low sodium. So I use turkey bacon almost on a daily basis with either myself or my kids. Frozen prawns, I've got a way on my website how to use those, make a quick dinner. You combine it with the broccoli, do some whole wheat pasta, and you can still put together a dinner for your family without going to the supermarket. High fiber protein cereal. I'm not a huge cereal person, but this is something when you run out of eggs, it's always good to have cereal on hand, especially get the high protein one. On the website, I mentioned that it has to have at least 10 grams of protein and at least 6 to 8 grams of fiber to really qualify as a cereal in my house. Okay, I usually store it in my freezer also, so that way it just extends the shelf life. Sometimes I put it in my pantry and I forget about it. High fiber bread, I also keep this in the freezer. I'm a big fan of Dave's Killer Bread. Has anybody tried that before? Okay, I think it's a phenomenal bread, very low sugar. Bread is also a little notorious for sodium, high sodium, and his bread is actually a really good level of sodium. And so again, I keep this in my freezer and buy it 2 at a time. And I do all this, here's my family, so that when I get home from a business trip, I can actually have fun with my family instead of coming home, being grumpy and sick. That's what I did for years. I wasn't taking care of myself as I was traveling. And I'd get home and I'd probably spend the next 2 days just fighting off a cold. And then one of the kids would get it. Then my husband would get it. And it seems like just this constant cycle. So that's my husband, Steve, and my 2 stepdaughters at Cece, the blonde, and Jordan on the far right. So. Okay, I'm going to open it up for questions. And the other thing, if you text me, this is a new high tech. I'm getting really high tech. If you text me your email address, I'm going to send an email to you with the Journeys website on my website. And on the site for the next 30 days, I have a free Kindle download of my book that's available for the next 30 days on there. So if you don't have Kindle, you can just do it as an ebook and just put it onto your computer. Okay, now let's open it up for questions. I saw a couple hands. Yes?
Okay, mine's not about traveling, but keeping my child hydrated, she will drink a ton of water as long as it's flavored. So so my thing is I've been putting Crystal Light, but then I'm thinking, wow, that's not healthy.
I think that's Splenda.
Yeah, so what would you recommend? She's 3.
Okay, so we do spa water at my house. So what I do is I slice up, I wash the oranges, a grapefruit, slice it up, put it in a pitcher with pitcher of water in my refrigerator. You could do limes, you could put strawberries in there in the summer and just make it pretty and call it something pretty. I call it spa water, and then the girls are like, wow, is there any more spa water? And thinking, really, you guys? Okay, that's great. So I'm trying to train them to drink more water, and I don't know what it is with this generation of kids. They only like to drink out of bottles. drives me crazy. So I finally realized if I put it in a nice pitcher, there's something about that that's so much more attractive for them than grabbing a glass out of the cabinet and filling it with water. So it has to be cold, and then they'll drink it. More questions? Yes?
So what about like replacement foods, because apples hurt my stomach? So is there anything that's the same that...
Okay, so question, what about anything else besides apples? And the reason why I chose apples is because they're bulletproof for travel. And apples bother her stomach. So what would I travel with? Grapes or, what I'd probably do is I'd probably call the concierge or make sure that I could find a Trader Joe's in the area or something, some small market, and get some oranges. Oranges are a little heavy to travel with, but if you could get those little clementines, could you do those? Do those bother your stomach? So I'd probably do the clementines, and the good thing about clementines is that they're getting ready to come into season, but they're also really sweet, so I find that if I have that after dinner, it will kill my sweet tooth. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just, I'd mentioned I like sugar and I like salt. I'm definitely not, a perfect nutritionist, but I need to have something sweet at the end of a meal. For me, that kind of signifies, okay, you're done. Walk away from the table now. And it's amazing how I can be at a table and feel so stuffed. And as I'm loading the dishwasher, I'm thinking, are there any cookies left? And I just got done saying I'm stuffed, but I'm still looking for something. So having something, a sweet fruit is a great way to go. It's a great way to kind of retrain your taste buds to not be as attracted to chocolate anymore. In the winter, what I'll do is I get frozen blueberries. Sometimes I get frozen cherries. I just put them in a colander in my kitchen, run some warm water over them, and then as the evening goes on, the girls will come by and grab a handful, or I'll grab a handful. So it's berries that I wouldn't normally get in the winter and that they wouldn't normally eat. And so experiment with frozen fruit. It's a really inexpensive way to get some really great stuff into your body during a time when you normally wouldn't. Okay. Well, thank you for your great questions and attention. And I'll be up here kind of loading up my suitcase. So if you have any private questions, I will unmic myself so nobody else to hear. And feel free to send me an email if I didn't get to your question, or if you have, again, a private question. So thank you. Enjoy your rest of your evening.